visitors, retired general officers, and we have a couple in the room, soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines. Thank you so much for having me. I currently live in San Antonio, but I'm from Baltimore, Maryland, so I kind of put that plug in for Baltimore. Thank you for having me. I know there's another band here in Alabama I hear about, but between your singing today, and I know we have another singer, you can give them a run for money. That was amazing, absolutely amazing. For the Fort Payne High School JROTC, amazing job this morning or this afternoon. And to the Scouts of America, that was a really great way to honor the 4 chaplains. Great job, y'all. Let's give them a hand. So as was mentioned, William Cooner, to me, Staff Sergeant Cooner, asked me to come be here today. I didn't really know what I was going to say coming to this event, and actually what I thought I was going to put pen to paper after hearing all that you have done to honor the 4 chaplains. There's pretty much nothing for me to say that you don't already know, to include the Sons of Alabama that have been lost. But in my research of the 4 chaplains, because I'm embarrassed to say that I was not familiar with their story at all, even though I am just a humble soldier medic, I'm a combat medic, and being a medic, we in the chaplains work hand in hand with what we do in our job to ensure that the most precious asset we have is our service members, and that they come home to those that they lead, to you as family members. So as I was kind of researching and trying to understand their stories, what I saw from even before the event was their friendship. And they became friends when they went to the chaplain school. I think it was the Harvard chaplain school that they went to. And I also reached out to many, many chaplains that I know, to include the chief of chaplains in Fort McNair, DC. And I said, "Chaplain, what do I say? What do I do?" And all of them said to me, "Kim, just get up there and speak from your heart." So I'm going to try this, and we'll see if it's a success or failure. I know I'm between you and the benediction and a couple things, but it's a great Sunday afternoon to be here, and I'm really honored again to be here in Fort Payne, Alabama, and also to see all the service that you have in a community and what you're doing for each other, as well as what you're doing for veterans, and me still as an active duty serving sergeant's major. So with that, the resounding cry of the friendship of the chaplains, when Staff Sergeant Cooner called me, and actually he usually messages me, and he said, "I need to talk to you," which was weird. Now the story about Sergeant Cooner, I don't know if you know, and for those of you that have retired from military service, when you retire from active duty, up until the age of 60, you can be recalled. And you're recalled to the grade of which you served and you retired, to which Staff Sergeant Cooner had already retired. And how many years were you out, William?
Long time.
A long time, a couple years. I think he had been out longer than I had currently been serving. And we all got called. I met a unit in Maryland to deploy with active duty, and William was brought in as one of my individual ready reserves. So neither one of us knew anybody, and there was a number of other soldiers that we're still friends with that were called in. And Staff Sergeant Cooner knew more about military service and what it was to serve than I probably knew in my whole career at this point. And I thought this guy couldn't stand me. He'd sit behind me and laugh at me all the time. I was just I say relatively young platoon sergeant, and Sergeant Cooner we became the misfit friends, and to this day, last night was the first time in 15 years that we've seen each other, and as if we hadn't been apart. And so when he called me and he asked me, there would be nothing that would keep me from being here today. And I think that that's a tribute to the military service and the friendship of what these 4 chaplains had together, and how they were able to be successful, and their legacy still stands strong today, 80 years later as of this week. So thank you for inviting me. Thank you for having me here. The honor that we're doing for these 4 lieutenants has already been said in spades by all of you that told your stories. So there's no need for me to kind of go into that. What's interesting is that, again, I kind of preface that you can find memorials across the entire United States that honor these chaplains. And I hadn't seen them. I also have my godfather, who is a Vietnam veteran, who's also a preacher, retired preacher now. And I called him and I said, Uncle Johnny, what do you know about these chaplains? And he said, "Well, Kim, for the past however many years, I speak at every American Legion anniversary of the 4 chaplains." I said, "Well, I wish I would have known that before yesterday," because my uncle, again, preacher, I just didn't think about some of the legacy the chaplains bring forward, because usually you see them on the sidelines. They say that, you call for the doc and then you call for the chaplain, or you call for God. But there is no truer servitude than of these chaplains. with that, again, the memorials, I've served at the Pentagon many, many times. I did not know that there was a stained glass memorial of the chaplains at the Pentagon. I was also on my way to the meeting at the Pentagon September 11th when most of my friends, all of my friends in the meeting were killed. Many people were killed. I was not obviously killed, but I was there, and then I got to watch that sacrifice, and I got to watch that selfless service of service members come together and take care of everybody, whether it was civilians, Marines, sailor, Coast Guard. And now knowing what I know, it's almost as if it was divine intervention that I'm here today. That I was brought here by these gentlemen to continue to live their legacy and learn their stories 80 years later and share their stories with people, with these young scouts of America that, you probably know more about their story than I do, and I'm really, really honored, again, to learn their story. As we move forward today to honor their legacy, I would challenge you, given the state of affairs of the nation, given the unrest, that their example, regardless of your belief and being in service to other people in humanity, is what I think that we need to take from this today. If you look at all major religions of faith in the world, whether it is Muslim, Christian, Jewish, Methodist, Dutch Reformed, there is only one resounding theme that everyone has, which, as I would call it to be, is to love others regardless of their political affiliation, regardless of their religious affiliation, their science affiliation, medical affiliation, what a person chooses to identify themselves as their gender or who they think they are. We're going again into civil unrest of people that have been marginalized throughout the year, and I think it's time that we look at ourselves in the mirror, we remember these 4 men that we are honoring today, and we decide, are we going to give that service of humanity and give our life best to those people that think differently than us, if we're called to do that? So I would challenge you maybe to think about that, look into yourselves, see and realize that there's no exercise better for the heart than reaching down and lifting up. So today, again, I don't want to keep you very long. I want to thank you for your time. It has been an honor already to meet all of you, and I appreciate you. And again, thank you for the legacy of these 4 chaplains. I will carry it in my heart, and because of you, I know about them. So thank you.